Three prison officers suspended after inmate escapes New Amsterdam prison. Oil money could only be spent after elections, says Finance Minister. And government builds first primary school in Itarimbang. We start off tonight's news by telling you that the Guyana Elections Commission GCOM recently concluded another round of training for polling day staff, with some 2,030 persons receiving training in regions 1 Barima-Waini, 2 Pomeroon Supernam, and 10 Upper Demerara Berbice, according to the Department of Public Information. Public Relations Officer Yolanda Ward said that the training session saw 382 persons from the Barima-Waini region being trained. The turnout in Region 2 and 10 were 779 and 869 respectively. Along with the three regions, the elections body has also conducted training in Georgetown, East Bank and East Coast, and Region 5 Mahaica Berbice. The training of polling day staff remains critical as the country prepares for credible general and regional elections. The GCOM is currently deliberating on a draft schedule of timelines for elections. A team of several high-ranking members of the opposition People's Progressive Party Civic (PPPC), led by Bara Jactio, the party's general secretary, met with the chairwoman and commissioners of the Guyana Elections Commission (GCOM) to hold further discussions on the way forward regarding elections. During the meeting, the PPPC expressed its reservations about the commission's timeline and work. Here's more in this Kingsley Bryan report.
On Friday last, the statement from the Commission proposed March 2020 for the holding of regional and general elections. This decision did not sit well with the leader of the opposition, who, after meeting with the Commission on Tuesday, expressed his satisfaction with Tuesday's interaction.
The chairman said some encouraging words at the end of the meeting, very encouraging words, but I will not repeat them. Maybe you can ask the commissioners, but
why you felt encouraged?
Encouraging words because it has an outside limit to what this whole ordeal that we are going through.
The opposition leader was adamant that the proposed March date was too much of a long shot and said the party is still optimistic that elections can be held before 2019 comes to an end.
Oh, that is clearly out the window now. We don't even need to debate that. That's out the window. This March is totally out the window. We're looking for elections before the end of the year.
Meanwhile, GCOM on Tuesday in a statement noted that the proposed timelines are still in drafted stages and as such is not yet set in stone. GCOM also advised that given the extraordinary circumstance under which these elections are being called, nominations day may now precede the actual elections date by 55 days. Opposition nominated Commissioner Sais Ganraj, following the meeting, expressed his dissatisfaction with GCOM's statement.
The content of that press release is inaccurate and it is misrepresenting the discussions of the Commission. The Operations Subcommittee decided on one thing, that the statutory timelines that are catered for in the law would not be breached. Every single other activity between the holding of Nominations Day and Elections Day, we decided as late as Friday last, we will make efforts to have that time reduced in an effort to hold elections in a timely manner.
The Commission, however, in its statement maintains that this timeline is acceptable and is not in contradiction to the laws, but remains justifiable. On the other hand, government-nominated Commissioner Vincent Alexander, when questioned on the issue, maintained that there is no room for flexibility in these timelines.
In the Secretary's timeline, no.
It will have to be in March?
In the Secretary's timeline, there's no regular room.
No.
Regular room, as you asked.
The Commission is expected to meet again on Thursday to continue their deliberations. For Globespan 24x7 News, this is Kingsley Bryan.
Thanks, Kingsley. The failure to set up an oversight committee to manage Guyana's Natural Resources Fund, also known as the Sovereign Wealth Fund, will see the current government not being able to spend monies acquired through the new found oil and gas sector. We find out more in this report.
Finance
Minister Winston Jordan says that this is a result of the People's Progressive Party and the Private Sector Commission not putting forward the names of their nominees. The minister said if government could not get the 21-member committee set up, the account would be opened in keeping with the law and the monies would be received.
And it will be parked there until we can get the parliament going, because parliament is heavily involved in the withdrawal process from the Natural Resource Fund.
However, Jordan does not see government not being able to spend the monies from the Sovereign Wealth Fund will hugely affect certain projects and programs.
As I said, we'll open the account and park the money in there until we get a new parliament in place.
That will take some months.
Yeah, well, that will take some months. So you'll have money but you can't spend.
The minister noted that he is not in agreement with opposition leader Bharat Jagdeo's approach that all revenues should first be deposited into the consolidated fund.
Essentially a black hole, and an indeterminate entity or person will determine how much will come out to go into the Natural Resource Fund. Our model is everything goes to the Natural Resource Fund. So there's a transparent process. You know how much is in that fund, and then there's a detailed process about how it can be withdrawn from the fund.
The Private Sector Commission has since written Jordan saying that their delayed response was due to a transition in its management team and would respond later. The Finance Ministry will be hosting several workshops aimed at training officers in charge of the management of the fund. Reporting for Globespan 24x7 News, this is Abel Harris.
Thanks, Abel. 28 traffic lights battery units were stolen and the cabinets have been vandalized within Georgetown, the Ministry of Public Infrastructure has said. The ministry's electrical engineer has estimated these battery units to amount to approximately $2.5 million. The ministry has called in the police who are currently investigating the situation. In light of this issue, the ministry is again pleading with citizens to refrain from destroying much-needed infrastructure within the city. Persons are asked to report any act of theft or vandalism to the nearest police station or the ministry's public relations department on telephone number 227-0799. Another major American flag carrier has signaled its intention to begin providing direct flights between the United States and Guyana. Today, JetBlue officially announced its intention to begin daily flights out of this country. More in this Kingsley Bryan report.
American airline JetBlue on Tuesday announced it is again expanding its large Latin America and Caribbean network with new non-stop service between New York's John F. Kennedy's International Airport and Georgetown, Guyana's Cheddi Jagan International Airport. Flights will operate daily on JetBlue's new A321neo aircraft beginning April 2, 2020, with seats available for purchase in the U.S. starting today. In the release, the airline's Director of Route Planning, Andrea Lasso, noted that Guyana's service introduces a diverse and undeserved destination to the JetBlue route map, which will benefit both leisure travelers as well as those visiting friends and relatives. Additionally, the report stated that the government of Guyana is delighted to welcome the services of JetBlue to Guyana, and this is according to Guyana's Minister of Public Infrastructure, David Patterson. According to the release, Patterson also noted that this agreement with JetBlue is timely and comes on the heels of continued and sustainable growth in several sectors of the economy, including service, tourism, mining, and oil and gas. JetBlue's newest route will also connect to New York's Guyanese American community, the largest in the U.S., with Guyana's capital city, making the connections between friends and family easier and closer than ever. Guyana becomes the fourth country in South America that JetBlue serves and grows the airline's presence in Latin America and the Caribbean, where it is a leading carrier serving nearly 40 destinations. The new non-stop flight between New York City and Georgetown will be made possible by the A321neo's extended range and fuel efficiency. For Globespan 24x7 News, this is Kingsley Bryan.
Thanks again, Kingsley. Under the team working together to prevent suicide, the Ministry of Public Health Mental Health Department hosted a health walk in celebration of World Suicide Prevention Day 2019. World Suicide Prevention Day is observed on September 10 each year to promote worldwide action to prevent suicides. The walk commenced from the Mental Health Unit in Kwamana Street, Georgetown, and proceeded on to the National Cultural Center. Suicide prevention remains a universal challenge. Every year, suicide is among the top 20 leading causes of death globally for people of all ages. It is responsible for over 800,000 deaths, which equates to one suicide every 40 seconds. The main city councillors of the Georgetown municipality have voted for the immediate removal of the chief constable, Andrew Foo, due to the dissatisfaction with his work. A motion of no confidence was moved by Denroy Tudor on Monday during City Hall's statutory meeting. 19 councillors voted in favor, while 2 voted against and 3 abstained. Tudor requested a recommendation that Foo be terminated from duties with all of his benefits intact, and that the recommendation be forwarded to the Local Government Commission for approval. The councillor stressed on Foo's laissez-faire approach to his work. According to him, Foo's actions have had a negative effect on the entire constabulary department. The council noted, therefore, that it is imperative that the council takes action to ensure that the city constabulary department is shifted from a downward trajectory. During the debates, it was brought to the attention of the council again that the Commission of Inquiry into City Hall pointed to Foo's inability as the chief constable to lead his department. Quoting the words of the retired Justice quoting the words of retired Justice Cecil Kennard in the report, a council noted that a recommendation was made that the corrupt, incompetent officer should be dismissed. We'll take a short break. Do stay with us. You're watching Globespan 24x7 News.
We would like to ask all of our faithful viewers to kindly like and follow Globespan 24x7 Facebook page and subscribe to Globespan 24x7 YouTube channel to receive up-to-date notifications of when we are live. Globespan 24x7 has vacancies for full-time positions such as reporters, newscasters, and news editors. Persons serious about joining a new and dynamic news team are asked to send their application to careers@globespantechnology.com.
Travelspan GT has low prices on JetBlue non-stop service starting April the 3rd. It's non-stop flights starting from as low as $320 one way. That's non-stop flights starting from as low as $320 one way. Fly on board a brand new Airbus A321 aircraft with Wi-Fi. It's non-stop and direct. Depart at 7:20 a.m. and arriving in Guyana 1:09 p.m. Call Travelspan GT in Georgetown at 227-1701. That's 227-1701. Or in Rose Hall, call 337-4287. And New Amsterdam at 333-6230. Call Travelspan today.
Thanks for staying with us. The far-flung Upper Mazaruni community of Itarimbang will soon have access to local primary education for the first time. Regional Chairman for Region 7, Gordon Bradford, stated recently that this step is part of the government's efforts to ensure access to universal primary education, with particular emphasis on hinterland communities. 2 primary schools were commissioned recently by Education Minister Nicolette Henry and Minister of State Don Haston Williams in Camarang and Parima, both in the Upper Maz district of Region 7. Similarly, the region has also constructed a new primary education facility in Mbamadai, which is said to be 45% completed, and yet another primary school in Kako. The contract to construct the school in Itarimbang was awarded to KNP Project Management for $25 million. Itarimbang is located on the Upper Cuyuni River, close to the Ghana-Venezuela border. Previously, the children in Itarimbang attended the San Martin School in the San Martin de Itarimbang, Bolivar, Venezuela, because of the absence of a school in their village. The school was closed due to the ongoing situation in Venezuela, and children from the community were left without schooling. First Lady Sandra Granger joined top government and company officials of ExxonMobil to officially welcome Guyana's first oil production vessel, which she says will bring renewed hope to Guyana. Here's that report.
It was an evening of much pomp and ceremony as top officials of government and U.S. oil giant ExxonMobil and its partners, Hess and CNOC, celebrated the official arrival of the Liza Destiny, Guyana's first ever floating production, storage and offloading oil vessel. The event, held at the Guyana Marriott Hotel last evening, saw a celebration of Guyana's unique cultures. Dubbed the godmother of the vessel, First Lady Mrs. Sandra Granger, while delivering brief remarks, expressed her hope that the vessel will not only benefit ExxonMobil and investors, but also Guyanese.
And I would like to hope for the Liza Destiny, the partners and the crew, that it will bring us all good things we anticipate. Not only the profits and return on investment for the Exxon and its partners, but also for the people of Guyana, and in particular our children, a better quality of life, sustainable development, and everything from which good oil will flow. I would still like to speak a toast. And so I would like to ask you to join me in raising your glasses to that beautiful woman, that beautiful girl child, Liza Destiny, Guyana's hope and aspiration. Thank you.
Country manager of ExxonMobil Guyana, Rod Henson, said that the event not only commemorates the arrival of the Liza Destiny, but also the strong partnership shared between Guyana and ExxonMobil.
ExxonMobil has been in Guyana since the 1940s in our downstream business with service stations selling fuel and lubricants. And although we're no longer in that business here, this year marks 20 years for our upstream business, helping Guyana find and develop its petroleum and natural resources. We have so much to celebrate, and the path in front of us is bright. I believe this partnership, though, has its best and most productive decades ahead.
Henson stated that Guyana's bright future is built on a strong foundation.
It's an interesting journey. It has been an interesting journey since our exploration activities initially started in 1999. There have been some challenges, and there's been a lot of uncertainty, but the perseverance and dedication has paid off. Our geoscientists and engineers have pushed technology safely and responsibly, have unlocked the resources here in Guyana.
Meanwhile, head of the Department of Energy, Mark Bino, in his address, highlighted that the arrival of the vessel marks a historic milestone for Guyana.
It also heralds a tide of good fortune, which we must appreciate for both the magnificent engineering feat that the Liza represents and the flood of opportunities and possibilities it presents for Guyana and our people. This is a merger of the brilliant technology savvy of Exxon and its partners, married with the amazing natural resources of Guyana, and this includes its most precious resource, its people.
On July 18, the Liza Destiny departed Singapore for Guyanese waters and arrived 3 weeks ahead of schedule. The FPSO has a production capacity of up to 120,000 barrels of oil per day and an overall storage volume of 1.6 million barrels. For Globespan 24x7 News, Shakima Day.
Thanks, Shakima. Although the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, in consultation with the ECCB Monetary Council, has approved the application for the transfer of assets and liabilities of the Bank of Nova Scotia to the Republic Financial Holding Limited in several regional territories, the Guyana government's position on the takeover has not changed. We find out more in this report.
Well, as far as I'm aware, no particular movement on that as yet because the governor hasn't reported any substantial change or development since we last spoke. And we last spoke maybe about 3-4 weeks ago.
That was Finance Minister Winston Jordan. The minister nevertheless says that government has made its views very clear on Republic Financial Holdings Limited plan to acquire Scotiabank's banking operations in Guyana.
We are not in favor of the agreement. And we said the reasons why we are not in favor of the agreement. That hasn't changed at the level of cabinet, But I think the bank is doing what it has to do. And when it's finished, it has to pass it over to me so I could take it to cabinet.
The Trinidad and Tobago-based bank has received the green light to take control of the operations of Scotiabank in Anguilla, the Commonwealth of Dominica, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, pursuant to Section 43 of the Banking Act.
The way how the Eastern Caribbean Bank dealt with it is not the same as in our case, so to speak. If any lessons to be learned, we don't know what is the whole experience that led to their completing their transaction, but I can say ours is different. Ours is different at the moment.
Earlier this year, Jordan's finance ministry had stated it has certain reservations. One such issue is what the ministry said was Republic Bank wielding too much influence on banking products and rates, as their acquisition of Scotiabank would invariably see assets and deposits within the local banking system increasing exponentially. According to the ministry, Republic Bank currently holds 35.4% of the banking system's assets and 36.8% of deposits, and the acquisition will up this to 51% of both assets and deposits. This raises concerns about an over-concentration of banking services, market domination, and the too big to fail risks. Although an agreement has been met between the Republic Financial Holdings Limited and the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, initially, certain countries were against it. For Globespan 24x7 News, Shakima Day.
Thanks, Shakima. 3 prison officers have been suspended over the escape of a New Amsterdam prisoner today. Convicted prisoner Rameshwar Prakash, 21, whose last known address is Lot 53 Princetown, currently in Berbice, was serving an 18-month sentence and was expected to be released on June 20, 2020. He was imprisoned for simple larceny. A statement from the police indicates that at 7 hours 50 today, 13 male prisoners were uplifted by 2 female prison officers to labor at the New Amsterdam prison farms. The prisoners were working at the Arable B, which is situated opposite the Prison Officers Club. Among the prisoners was Prakash. According to information received, police said the prisoner, while at labor, requested to use a washroom that is on the opposite side of the road from where he was working. From there, it is alleged that he went into a house used by one of the female officers he was working with. The report indicated that he removed $17,000 and an electronic tablet and made good his escape. Search teams were deployed to aid in his recapture. Initial investigations suggest that there were breaches of standing orders, which stems from the prison officers being suspended. The officers are required to report to the prison daily at 800 hours pending the outcome of the investigations. Minister Simona Brooms took to social media yesterday, vented her frustrations on the non-response of law enforcement officers in Bartica. Brooms, who hails from the mining community, contacted the police in the wee hours, but the response received was less than favorable. Shakima Day has that report.
And you police, you come here to serve and protect. We ain't begging you for nothing. You take the job. You took the oath. You took the oath. You joined in the bandwagon to some of y'all. Parents complaining to me about y'all and they ain't got nowhere else to go. Stop it.
That was Youth Minister Simona Brooms, who during a Facebook Live earlier yesterday morning expressed her frustrations and concerns on the incompetence of the police stationed in Bartica. Some hours before, at around 4 hours on Monday morning, Brooms heard a young woman screaming a stone's throw away from her home. Brooms said that she immediately called the police and reported the matter, expecting a prompt response. The minister went out with her vehicle in an attempt to illuminate the area and discovered a young woman sporting bruises about her body. The woman explained through an interpreter that she was abused and robbed by a male she met in the village. The man allegedly paid for her services, but afterwards her out of his home and into the bushes. All the neighbors from the area aided Minister Brooms to bring the young woman to safety. During that time, an hour passed with no police response whatsoever.
I stood there. Remember I said it was 10 minutes after 4 when I placed that call. So, 5:15, there's no police. So I drove down the road and I went to the police station. I saw officer, sir, good morning. Are you the police that I spoke with? No. I made a report. He asked another, no. I made a report here 10 minutes after 4 that somebody's life is in danger and screaming for help, but nobody showed up. Oh, yeah. 2 girls just pull up in a car and a police gone with them. Must be the same matter that you were talking about. Now, you have ATV motorbike. I am here in the community. You have transportation. If something really went wrong and to save that young lady's life, you did not respond, and you could walk from there to where I live in 5 minutes by foot.
According to Brooms, persons in the area shared similar views, saying that the police never respond when emergency calls are made.
So when I was home and saying it's an hour, by the time neighbors and so on coming out, they said, Minister, police don't show up when you call. You could call the police never come. We happy that you come now and you could see for yourself.
The youth minister stressed that she will not stop expressing her views until something is done to address the situation. Further, she stated that the alleged trend of abuse against women in the area also needs to be addressed. Meanwhile, President of the Caribbean Guyana Institute for Democracy, Rickford Burke, has expressed his support for Minister Brooms. He has since called on Public Security Minister Kemraj Ramjatan and Police Commissioner Leslie James to fix the situation in Bartica. For Globespan 24x7 News, Shakima Day.
Thanks, Shakima. The body of a 7-year-old Munripo girl who was severely burned during a house fire and died during treatment in the United States will be flown back home for burial. Shania Prasad's heart stopped twice on Monday and doctors tried desperately to resuscitate her. However, it stopped the third time, which led to her unfortunate demise. More than 90% of Prasad's body was burned while she was trapped in her home in Munripo, which went up in flames on August 5, 2019. Prasad miraculously survived the fire by walking out of the house as it was burning. It was reported that she was covered in flames, but neighbors quickly went to her rescue. The Saving Hands Emergency Aid, SHIA, a non-profit organization, helped evacuate her for emergency treatment in the United States, while the Rotary Club helped to raise funds for her surgery. On Friday, September 6, doctors had to amputate one of her legs, a few of her fingers, and a section of her ear. Shia said the doctors tried everything possible to treat her, but she also had internal injuries that were difficult to treat. We'll now take a look at our bridge reports. And now for a short break. Do stay with us.
JetBlue announces non-stop service from JFK to Guyana starting April 2nd. TravelSpan has low prices on JetBlue non-stop service. It's a non-stop flights starting from as low as $244 one-way and $491 round-trip. That's non-stop flights starting as low as $244 one-way and $491 round-trip. Fly on board a brand new Airbus A321 aircraft that is a brand new aircraft to Guyana with Wi-Fi. It's non-stop and direct. Depart at 11:55 p.m. and arriving in Guyana at 5:58 a.m. call Travelspan at 718-845-0437. That's 718-845-0437. Or book online at travelspan.com.
Amro's Travel Service is pleased to support Globespan 24x7 broadcasts. We provide travel solutions via our 4 locations in Trinidad. Chaguanas at 665-3383, Valpark 645-1604, Port of Spain 625-0800, and San Fernando at 652-4789. Remember, when you travel, Amro's is the way to go.
Thanks for staying with us. We'll now take a look at our regional and international news with Shakima Day.
Let's take a look at our regional and international news. The Bahamas government says it has suspended the crackdown on illegal migrants in the Abacos and Grand Bahama as the death toll from the passage of Hurricane Dorian a week ago climbed to 45. Minister of Financial Services, Trade, Industry and Immigration, Ellsworth Johnson, said that with the country presently experiencing a humanitarian crisis in the aftermath of Hurricane Dorian, strict instructions have been given to the Immigration Department that our concentration is on assisting with the humanitarian efforts to rescue and save the lives of persons regardless of place of origin, nationality, or immigration status. He further said that authorities are obligated to and will continue to secure the country's borders, and all domestic apprehension exercises in the affected areas are suspended. We also invite in all of our communities to assist as best they can with the humanitarian efforts now underway, he said. Prior to the passage of the hurricane, the Bahamas had implemented a crackdown on illegal migration, particularly directed at people from Haiti. A Bahamian immigration policy requiring that all residents carry passports has led to increased raids in shanty towns and other areas with large undocumented populations. Following the devastation caused by the storm, the Miami-based Family Action Network movement and more than 20 other groups released a letter addressed to Bahamian Prime Minister Hubert Minnis from residents because they are scared to seek help because of their immigration status. Bolivian wildfires have destroyed 2 million hectares of forest and grasslands since August, according to officials. Almost half of the losses are in protected areas known for high biodiversity. Scientists at the College of Biologists in La Paz estimate that regeneration of the local ecosystem will take about 300 years. The government is under pressure to declare a national emergency. Defense Minister Javier Zavalita blamed people for starting the fires, calling them saboteurs who are playing a macabre game. High temperatures and strong winds also stoked the flames over the weekends. Civic groups in Santa Cruz, the worst affected region, have imposed a Tuesday deadline for the emergency declaration, insisting it will help channel firefighting efforts and international aid. The fires began in May and intensified in August, while blazes also raged in the neighboring Brazil. At least 31 people have been killed in a stampede during the commemorations for the Shia holy day of Ashura in the Iraqi city of Karbala, officials say. Health Ministry spokesman said another 100 people were injured and warned that the death toll could rise. The stampede reportedly occurred when a pilgrim tripped while hundreds of thousands were performing a ritual. Ashura commemorates the martyrdom in battle of Imam Hussein, a grandson of the Prophet Muhammad, in 680 AD. In 2005, at least 965 pilgrims were killed in a stampede on a bridge over the river Tigris in the Iraqi capital, Baghdad. Witnesses and panic spread among the pilgrims over rumors of suicide bombers. And that's all for international and regional news. Back to you, Samuel.
Thanks, Shakima. We'll now take a look at what's happening in the world of sport with Kingsley Bryan.
Thank you, Samuel. And in sports, the Reggae Boys continue their unbeaten streak against the Golden Jaguars. The Jamaica Reggae Boys repeated history on Monday evening after securing a convincing win of 4-0 against the Golden Jaguars in Group C of League B action in the CONCACAF Nations League at the Lenora National Track and Field Center in Lenora, West Coast, Demerara. The Reggae Boys led the attack after Elvis Powell scored the first goal of the night in the 14th minute. This built the momentum for Powell as he was once again on the strike in the 26th minute. By the end of the 44th minute, the Jamaican side had already secured their third goal against the now shaken Jaguars. Orgil, who scored the third goal for Jamaica, then made another impressive play with a rebounded shot to score the fourth goal in the 54th minute. Apart from an impressive attack form, the Jamaican defense appeared impenetrable as the Reggae Boys goalkeeper successfully warded off any attempts by the Jaguars to score. Monday's victory has now placed the Jamaican side at the top of the group in points and goal difference. With this loss, the Jaguars are now third in their group. And turning now to CPL, the Ghana Amazon Warriors have announced that Pakistani leg spinner Shadab Khan will be replaced by South African. And back in international cricket, former England cricket team captain Andrew Strauss has been described as an exceptional person after receiving a knighthood in ex-British Prime Minister Theresa May's resignation honours list. The 32-year-old Strauss led England to 2 Ashes wins, as well as the #1 test ranking in his 50th test as captain. Strauss scored 7,037 runs at an average of 40.91 in 100 England tests, and joined the England and Wales Cricket Board as England's Director of Cricket after his retirement from all forms of cricket in 2012. He left the role last year to support his wife Ruth, who was being treated for terminal cancer, and went on to launch a foundation in her name after her death in December 2018. Also receiving this honor was former England captain Geoffrey Boycott. And that has brought us to the end of our sporting segment. Join us tomorrow as we continue to give you more highlights in the sporting arena. For Globespan 24x7 News, this is Kingsley Bryant.
Thanks, Kingsley. And that has brought us to the end of today's news. Before we go, here's a recap of our major headlines. Opposition team meets with GCOM over elections preparation. JetBlue to commence flying to Guyana from April 2020. 3 prison officers suspended after inmate escapes New Amsterdam prison. Oil money could only be spent after elections, says Finance Minister, and government builds first primary school in Itarimbang. Thanks for watching Globespan 24x7 News. On behalf of myself, Samuel Suknandan, the news and technical team, until next time, do have a pleasant rest of the evening. Goodbye for now.